Hello, my name is Zombie878 and welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, I will be showing you how to make a consumable, use a consumable, and show that consumable on either log screen or subtitles, which is arguably better. But if I go ahead and get a consumable and use it, it will show that I used it, and after 3 seconds, it will show that it's finished. So let's get the tutorial started. Okay, so the first thing we want is we want a consumable store button. Most basic things, we're going to configure the consumable store button. It's going to say choose existing consumable, which I do have a consumable, but we're going to make a new one. So go to create new and type in whatever name you want. Maybe you want this one to be, let's go with speed. You'll go faster. And the consumable name will come up there. Sometimes it won't appear. That's just a bug. Don't worry about that. Then you need at least 10 spaces in your description for this to go through. And since I'm not a Rec Room Plus member, it's going to be completely free. And we're just going to hit done, configure the button, and choose speed as a consumable. And there you go. I can go ahead and view it in my backpack after I buy it. Now we want to get out a log screen. It's going to show the previous logs you used in the room unless you reset the components. No, you got to reset the room. Like actually reset the room. Like everyone has to leave the room, then join the room again. Then this will reset. Okay, so now that we got the log screen, we're going to get a log string. Place that a little higher up. We're going to get a string format to place right next to it. So place your string format connected to that. We're going to have the format on the string format have a 0 here for the value. Then we're going to say used or whatever you want to say with the consumable. So it's going to say that consumable is used. Now we want a event receiver. I'm just gonna place it right there, move it up and over a bit. We want the event receiver to be consumable used. Next, we want a consumable constant. Place that right there. We want a consumable activate. We want a consumable deactivate. And we want a equals an if chip. Okay, so now we're going to go into the consumable constant and choose our speed consumable again. We are going to move these around a bit. I'm going to move this back further, this down a little bit. I'll move the equals chips over here, and I'm going to move the consumable deactivate down here. So we're going to want to put the consumable constant in here, and we want to put the consumable used in here. So if you use a consumable, it's going to check if you use this consumable. And if that's not true, then you can just have another equals an if chip, go to another consumable like this, and just put your next consumable in here that the person used. We're going to wire the event receiver to consumable used to the if chip. Going to connect the consumable on the consumable activate to consumable constant. We're going to wire the thin to the consumable activate. So now if I use that, it will use the consumable, but it won't deactivate or nothing. We're going to connect the consumable activate to the log string. And here's where you want the toString. I'm going to put the toString right here. If you connect the consumable constant to the toString, it's going to say in the string value what it is. So the consumable I got in here is speed. So it's going to show me speed. You want to connect it to the string format. And now it's going to say speed used whenever I use the speed on the log board. Next, you want the delay chip for your consumable. So I'm going to put my delay at 5 seconds. You're going to connect the log string to the run. And you want to add, you want the after the delay to go to the consumable, deactivate, and connect it here. But if you use it, you're not going to actually get the role, which is why you need a player add role and you need a player remove role. You don't need to worry about a local player chit with this because you can just turn this to local player and it will work with the player that's local, which is everyone. I'll explain that chip more, room of 40 and stuff like that if you guys want. You want the wire to run to the player add, and you are going to want the wire to deactivate to the player remove role. Now we don't have a role set up yet, so we're going to go ahead and set up the role. We want the role to be called speed. And after we rename this role to speed, we're going to edit it so we can either have a faster walk speed or we can either have it where our sprint speed is really fast. But I'm just going to do walk speed so I can show you. And right after I name that speed, we're going to name the player add role to speed. And we are going to name the player remove role to speed. And now if I go ahead and click on this and get the consumable, I use it and it says speed used, but it doesn't say finished. What we need to do is before we remove the role, we want to bring down a string format in log string again. And this one is going to say the consumable is finished. We're going to change the string format. We're going to keep the 0 there, but we're going to change this to finished. And we're going to connect the toString to there so it says speed finished. And that's going to activate after consumable deactivates, and then it's going to remove the role. So now if I activate the role again, it says used, and then after 5 seconds, it says finished. And just to show that it works, if I go ahead and use the role, you see my walk speed is very slow. And then when I use this, my walk speed gets extremely fast. And then it says finish, and my walk speed will get slower again. Now, if you don't want to use a log string, you can always go ahead and remove the log string chips and replace them for subtitle chips, which I think is better because no matter where you are, it will tell you that you use your consumable and not. It's just better because if you're going to have people run around and use consumables, you're probably going to want them to see it no matter where they go. I'm gonna make the duration 1 second for each of these subtitle chips because they only need to know that they're getting or losing it for not that long. Um, we're just gonna connect this to the string format, connect this to consumable activate, and connect this to consumable deactivate, just like the log string, except we're using the subtitle. And now if I go ahead and use the speed chip, it says speed used on my screen instead of the log string, and then it says speed finished. Okay, if you enjoyed that tutorial, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.